Let's go! Beat me up! Beat me up! Beat me up! Get over here! We're back!
Come on!
We're back!
We're back!
We're back!
Oh my
God!
The
Oh my
Sacramento Kings just absolutely had an incredible comeback win against the poverty franchise, as Johnny
That
likes
was a
to call
signed
it.
jersey, by the way. That was a signed jersey.
The Sacramento Kings win 123-118 after trailing by 18 at the half. Before we dive into this podcast, hit the subscribe button. We were just at 600 subscribers, and then someone was trolling us and unsubscribed, and we were back at $5.99.
Trolls, man.
If you like what we've been doing for the whole season, hit that subscribe button, okay? It means a lot to us.
Do it. Because we're back.
We're still waiting on you to hit that subscribe button, by the way.
And guess what? We were recording through the ups, the downs, the firing. We recorded through everything. And we're still here. We're loyal.
We're loyal
stayed
to
loyal to
the
the
soil.
soil.
We're never stopping.
And we're never stopping.
And with that being said, boys, let's freaking dive into this unbelievable game that we just witnessed.
Let's do it.
So,
What a game.
yeah, I mean, dude, it's so hard to put into words because that first half was abysmal. I'm talking both teams, especially in the first quarter. I think it was 24-20. Both teams were shooting around like high 30 from the field, 30% from the field. Terrible. I mean, only bright spot was, Sabonis had an easy 7 points, 5 rebounds, of course. We just expect that from him. And then Keegan started off pretty hot. He hit a 3 and a nice layup. He had 5 points in the first quarter.
Yeah, Keegan looked aggressive early on. I really like that.
which
The little lefty finish he had on. I mean, if Steph's guarding him, that's that's money in the bank. Smart, yeah.
But besides that, I mean, there was nothing going on for both teams. I mean, Warriors were hitting shots like they always do. Warriors were shorthanded, by the way, extremely shorthanded. No Draymond, yawn number 1 by RT. Everyone.
Yep, that's one.
No Draymond, no Kuminga,
Well,
no
because
Pajemski.
Draymond's a bum, but yeah.
Wow, all the Draymond Green.
Draymond didn't even play. He's catching strays.
It's probably because he was wearing overalls. RT hates overalls.
That was so gross,
RT
dude.
hates overalls.
That was probably the worst fashion, by the way, I've ever seen a player wear in this season.
That's crazy to say.
Yeah,
that's crazy
it's
to
not
say.
crazy, though. It's not crazy because and the glasses too. No bueno.
Well, RT is a fashion god, so
Yeah, that's true.
RT is a
He
fashion
is.
god.
Did we
Look at
mention
that.
the sponsor, by the way?
Oh yes, guys,
Yeah.
we have finally got our second sponsor. Besides Krista's Closet, we have a second sponsor.
That's right.
RT, take it away.
Well, if listen, everybody, I just recently came out with a brand new design. It's called RT's Auto Body. So
Do a little twirl.
a little twirl. So check out the back right here. You see the back right there. Just a nice little RT's Auto Body. This is in fact not mine, but this is a place found in Gilroy. So shout out to the spot in Gilroy. So
We're totally kidding. I found that hoodie at a thrift store yesterday.
So if you ever need your car detailed, go to RT's Auto Body in Gilroy, California.
I know it's quite the drive, but it's worth it.
It is very worth it.
Tell us in the comments if RT does look like a mechanic, though, with that on. Because I think he does.
Well, I also have a haircut, too, so that probably makes sense,
He's
too.
looking good with that new haircut, by the
Sacktown
way.
Shane.
Looking better than Kevin Herter, I'll tell you that. My God. Okay, sorry.
Oh my God, the pod just started.
I'm sorry. I
Dude,
said
is
last
this-
pod I feel bad for him.
Dude.
I do. I just feel bad for the man.
I feel bad, too.
Dude,
But he's got unlimited boost at Tiger, man. He's fine. He's fine. He'll go get some strange, man. He'll be fine, dude. He'll be fine.
Oh my God, boys. Okay, let's get back on track. Second quarter. This is where we thought things were going to change for the better because DeMar DeRozan and Trey Lyles start the second quarter with back-to-back threes. Where I'm like, okay, we're shooting better. I think we actually ended up hitting 3 in a row. But to counter that, the guy who you wouldn't expect the most on the Golden State Warriors was killing us. RT.
Oh, man, dude. Where do I start? I mean, there was a display
Who was it? I was
of
asking
Kings
you.
Killers. No, I mean, you got to ask me because
I did. I said someone made 3 threes in a row.
Dude,
on the Warriors.
I'm not gonna lie.
He didn't watch the game.
No, I blinked. It was a blur.
It was Guy Santos.
Guy Santos.
He hit
See,
3 threes.
Gee, Santos.
You know how like Flight Reacts likes to call other NBA players 10-day contract players. That was what Guy Santos is. It's like a 10-day contract.
He was
guy.
a Kings killer tonight, but the other man was freaking Andrew Wiggins the whole night.
I think that was the true Kings killer tonight. Just from watching it tonight, I was like, I think Andrew Wiggins was going to be the Kings killer. And another thing too was Steph was making insane assists in the second quarter.
Yeah, because the whole game, the Kings, I think the game plan, I think everyone knew the game plan. Doug Christie wanted the guys to force Steph Curry to be a facilitator tonight and make everyone else beat you. And man, it was working. Like the Warriors found a way to, because Steph had 7 assists in the first half, which tied his like season high in assists and a half. And man, Guy Santos and pretty much everyone down the line. That rookie, 54th pick.
Oh yeah,
the tall guy on the Warriors, he was knocking down threes too. And I was like,
Post, is that what?
Post,
Post, yeah.
We're not talking Malone, but he was dropping threes like crazy.
Trace Jackson Davis, he had like an insane and one, like a up and under.
For sure. And you brought up Post. Yeah, we're not talking Office. We're not talking mail. But no, today was the best. This game was the best Doug Christie coached game of the Kings this year. I mean, that game plan, that defensive game plan to stop Curry, to make him uncomfortable. Curry, he's been in the league since 2009, right? He's gotten every defensive look in the book thrown at him. The fact that Doug Christie, a rookie head coach, is able to draw up a scheme to make him uncomfortable, and dude, he just looked flustered out there. Keon was swatting his shots.
He couldn't get a shot out.
Keegan was swatting his shots. He looked uncomfortable, and that is a game plan drawn up by your coaching staff, but also your head coach Doug Christie, who we all know is a tenacious defender. We just brought it tonight, and I credit to Doug Christie. I know we've given him his flowers since he's taken the interim job, but I think tonight's game showed why he's deserving of a chance to be the full-time head coach going forward. Is he can put our guys in a position on the defensive end to stop some of the best shooters in the league, the best shooter of all time, arguably.
I sure hope we give Doug the green light to be the head coach. I mean, he's still labeled the interim until the official signing happens. But he outcoached Steve Kerr. He
outcoached Steve Kerr.
Definitely. The way that Keon Ellis, Keegan Murray, and Devin Carter, they were picking him up 3/4 court the whole game.
For sure.
And then the whole first half, what I noticed, Steph did go on a run at the very end of the second quarter.
He's going to. Yeah.
All before that, Keon, and even Devin Carter, the way they were defending him, he was non-existent on the offensive end because the way they were kind of like grabbing his jersey, holding on to him at all moments of the game. Where I thought this is not like Steph might not. I thought he was going to go under 10 for the first time in a long time. That's what I thought was going to happen, but. Right. Yeah, fast forward to the end of the second quarter, that's where things changed for the worse. That's where they finally broke out of his Steph. He does what he does. He hit some crazy shots, but what was the biggest part of his game tonight was the way he was passing the ball.
And even Buddy Hield tonight, he was able to get it going, especially in that first half too. I mean, he had that game. He had the buzzer beater at the end of the half, and I was texting the boys. I was like, "It's not looking good." I thought we were in trouble. But I think the one thing that kept us in that second quarter, I think, was getting to the free throw line, getting into the bonus very, very early. And I think just allowing that defense, because I think their interior defense, you can draw fouls. DeRozan was drawing fouls. Malik Monk was drawing fouls. I mean, Sabonis was basically being aggressive. They were just being the more physical team at that point. I felt like even though we were down by so many points, we were getting out-rebounded in that second quarter. I was like, I was yelling at my TV, can we get like an offensive rebound going or something?
Well, the reason why they got so many rebounds is because all they were doing was shooting threes.
Yeah, exactly.
They shot 26 three-pointers, and every time they miss, it's a long rebound. So they were just getting lucky with offensive rebounds.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that also like plays a huge part is because when we got to the line, it was basically, we were able to impose our will and basically get to the free throw line. And I think that just set the tone. That's why it could have ballooned into like a 22 to 23 point deficit. And that could have been like the major big difference. I mean, we won by 6. If that got into basically 23 or 24, I think it would have been impossible to come back.
It would have been a much harder comeback for sure. I mean, with the Warriors making 14 out of their 26 three-pointers in the first half, you're like, dude, there's no way the Kings are going to win this game. Yeah. But, Doug Christie with his extreme motivation that the players love to, they feed off of it like crazy. So I wish I was a fly on the wall in that halftime locker room speech to hear what he said to the guys to like really
for sure
turn it around.
And it's one thing to draw up a defensive scheme, right? But it's another thing to have your team believe in that and give effort for all 4 quarters. And I think Doug Christie has the X's and O's, but he also has the ability to instill belief in the team and to keep fighting. And they stuck with the defensive game plan all game. And Curry's obviously going to, have his crazy shots that go in, but for the most part, he looked uncomfortable. And I think it doesn't take a basketball fan to see him in that game and see that he was uncomfortable. But yeah, I mean, they were out with Kuminga. They didn't have Draymond. So obviously their MO, the Warriors' MO going into the game was to let it fly, right? And that's what they did. Wiggins let it fly. Santos let it fly. Even Post Malone had a 3, right?
I was shocked when that one went in.
Right.
I'm like, dude, we can't do anything against these guys.
Exactly. And the Kings took advantage, right? So Looney went out right after playing 9 minutes. And that's when we really took advantage of the paint. We got to the free throw line. Their interior with Trace Jackson Davis and Post Office couldn't do anything. They couldn't do anything at all. And that's what you got to do, right? We knew they were weak already with Draymond Kuminga out, but as soon as Looney went out, you could tell that we were starting to get more aggressive in the paint.
I feel like the storyline of the first half was like Warriors were just making every 3, and then right when we were trying to counteract it with fast break points, Malik Monk had a beautiful steal, fast break opening for an amazing emphatic dunk, reverse dunk, hits off the top of his head. Crazy. And goes out of the basket. I'm like, I haven't seen that.
I've never seen anything like that in my life. I haven't seen that
before, and I'm like, that's just what this game is right now. Like that, like if there's one play that could explain the first half, it's that. Like that, like, and I'm just like, it's just going to be one of those games. But then, man, were we wrong?
When that play happened, I was scared because that's just a typical Kang's moment. Yeah, typical Kang's moment that snowballs and that affects our team mentally. But you just saw Monk after the play. He was laughing about it. Him and Fox you could tell it was just a joke. And Doug Christie kept the guys in it. That's the sign of a mentally tough team. That's a sign of a mature team and a team that's on a mission. But yeah, that is a funny ass moment.
He got it shocked in the full moment.
Oh, that might be number one there.
It has to be.
It bounced off his head.
It was crazy, and it was a beautiful dunk.
It went in. That's crazy.
Did you see how confused he looked after that? He was like,
"Yeah."
He thought he just thought he missed, and he's like, "Wait, what?"
Right.
But I'm sure when he watches the film on what actually happened, he's going to be like shell shocked. But
that's crazy.
All right. Third quarter time. This is where
Debo. What we got?
Debo.
Let's see the back. Compton's finest.
DeMar DeRozan went off in the third quarter. He had 19 points,
Compton's
7
finest.
of 7 from the field, 4 for 4 from the free throw line. This guy was unconscious.
Put
in
the
third
team
quarter.
on his back.
For how many times has he done this? He's done this time after time after time. It's insane. Every time he scores, I'm like, I can't believe we still have him on our team. Like I'm still not used to it.
Can't believe he chose to be here.
They were talking about that in the ESPN broadcast today. They were like, it says something about the organization that when a player of his caliber who has the option to go anywhere in the league chooses this team. Bob
Myers compared it to Iguodala choosing the Warriors in 2012 and how that mentally changed everyone else around him. And you could tell Monk has a newfound confidence. Fox has a newfound confidence. Everyone's playing like they're like, okay, we can't let this vet down. We can't let this bucket down who's established himself in the league. But he turned it up. Compton's finest turned it up.
Man.
In unbelievable fashion. The way he was drawing fouls and ones. So he was even making a bunch of threes too, dude. He was all over the place in the third quarter. I think he single-handedly brought us back into that game.
For sure.
I mean, obviously it's always a team effort. There's always more guys, but him, without those 19 points, I don't know. RT?
I got another guy that also helped bring us back.
Who else brought the boom?
The Ellis Island brought the boom.
Of course he did.
There was a play, and I want to describe it, where Curry was like, basically, you know how he runs around the court, goes like across like his wing spots, finds a spot on 3. Then he's not there. He's like, all right, I'm going to go beat him in the other way and go to the opposite corner. So Keon follows him, basically like gets in front, like jumps, and he's like, all right, we got to take away the quick one. He tries to do a sidestep, quickly comes back, basically is able to just be right back on defense. And that was such a beautiful defensive play
and it resulted in a turnover.
It did result in the turnover. And we also we took care of the ball really well the entire game too. But that was just a moment where the Warriors also, like, we also got back in this game because we forced the Warriors to cause turnovers, and especially in that third quarter.
I think they had 8 turnovers in the third quarter.
Yeah,
they had 7 in the first half, 8 in the third quarter.
Yeah,
which was insane.
Huge.
And like in the first half, our perimeter defense was horrible. Like we were. How many times do they get a 4-point play when the Kings are guarding the 3-point line? It happens all the time. It happened in the first half. They were just making everything. And then the way that Keon Ellis gets blown by on the contest, but then he recovers. Not everyone on our team could do that.
Nope. And
it's just incredible.
And also the Warriors, they shot 1 for 10 in that third quarter. So that was huge. So whatever Doug Christie said in that locker room, they definitely paid attention. They were contesting shots. They were getting rebounds. They were basically fixing all the things that were problems in that second quarter and then erased it. And you know what that ultimately resulted in, Cristo?
Tell me.
It resulted in us tying the game going into the fourth quarter.
Which was insane because we outscored them 37-20 in that quarter. So we outscored them by 17 points, and then we tied the game. I think it was 85-85 going into the fourth. So it was unbelievable. And then to start the fourth quarter off the right way, defense is still there. Keegan Murray blocked Steph. That was what sparked the fourth quarter again.
Swatted him.
And then, our defense was pretty good for the first 2 minutes of the fourth quarter. And then this is where I wrote down everything in the fourth quarter because that was one of the most exciting fourth quarters since like that Miami Heat game. So this is what happened. Warriors go on a 9-0 run. And then timeout. Kings answer back with a 13-0 run. And then, during that 13-0 run, it was a Sabonis layup. It was a Monk 3, a Keon 3, a DeRozan 3, and then a Keon fast break steal that was a layup. So that's how we scored the 13 points.
Jeez.
Timeout. After that, Warriors answer back with an 8-0 run. After that, Kings answer back with a 10-0 run. And then after that, that's where it was the Sabonis. I think we were up like 6, and then the Sabonis foul that got overturned and all of that. And then we ended up just closing them out in a nice way and got out of there. But dude, that fourth quarter was just a game of runs, and the Kings, we ran faster and we got to the finish line before they did, and it was a crazy fourth quarter. So let's just break it down. What was the most exciting part of the fourth quarter in your eyes, RT?
Oh man, where do you start? Oh,
sorry, there's one more thing I wanted to say.
Yes, there is one more
thing. So at our last 10-0 run, the Warriors were scoreless for almost 5 minutes, which was insane. So sorry, I just wanted to mention that because that's huge. Like, you don't come back from that.
I just think the way that the Kings responded really helped. I think just in that, especially in their first run, the Warriors' first run, Doug Christie made a very smart timeout, got Sabonis and DeRozan back in. That was huge.
Early, I think, like the 9-minute mark. Yeah.
9-minute mark, and was able to just answer that run. Sabonis and DeRozan got going. Monk was also in there. And then they went back, and then they responded with a run, and then we went back to our original starting 5 that we started the game with, and at that point, we were able to close it out. Malik Monk really stepped it up on defense.
Another 20-point game from Malik.
Another one. But, just De'Aaron Fox, I know he didn't have the best game today, but we talked about it on the last episode of the podcast. He was able to do things defensively. There was a play where he was poking, just poking deflections, poking balls out of the offensive hand and all that stuff, and just trying to just disrupt the offense. So his active hands have been doing a really big part of just disrupting this offense a lot. So even when he's not accumulating steals, he's basically being active on defense, especially when his shot's not going. I know he's also dealing with an injured finger right now too that he's been lingering with, and they've been talking about that on the podcast too. So for me, I think and also hitting clutch free throws is huge.
Back-to-back games.
Huge.
Back-to-back games.
Yeah, Fox also had some clutch rebounds there in the fourth quarter. So the Kings ended on a 14-4 run. Fox had 8 of those points. So like you said, RT, he's not... tonight wasn't one of those games where Fox, was the all-out scorer that we've come to custom, but he was timely. He got timely stops, timely rebounds. He kept fighting, and scored 8 of our last 14 points on that run. But I think the fourth quarter, everything that stood out was just our fight. How many times have we seen another team go on a run late in the fourth and we just crumble? They went on a 9-0 run, we respond with an 8-0 run. They go on a 9-0 run, we respond with a 9-0 run. It's the fight and the maturity that you see Doug Christie instill in each of these players, where you watch this team and you're like, things are different. Things are different than what they were earlier in the year. It's not like we made a big roster change. The mentality is just different because we're taking punches from teams, but we're not letting them control the game. We're on our home court. We need to control the game. And I think Doug Christie's just motivating the hell out of them.
I think basketball, that a lot of fans at home don't realize, is how mental the game is. I got a kinesiology degree, and there's a minor I could have gotten for sports psychology. And they say that sports psych is the most important part of a sport, especially in the professional leagues. So having a guy like Doug Christie, who is the Ted Lasso of the NBA, just motivating these guys. Like, these guys, that's what they needed all along. Like, it wasn't, I mean, the trade deadline is coming up. We probably do need some little roster adjustments, but with our current roster, what they needed was just that confidence boost.
Exactly.
To have someone ride or die for them.
And
that's
Brown,
what Doug will do.
Right. And Mike Brown is a great coach, right? X and O wise. Was he the best player coach? Was he the best at, having a relationship with players? Maybe not. And we're kind of seeing that now, where in the NBA, you have so many coaches on a staff. You have sometimes 15 coaches on a staff. The game plans will be drawn up, but who on that coaching staff is going to get the most out of your players emotionally? Who's going to get the most out of your players investment-wise on the defensive end? Doug Christie is doing that. And as good as Mike Brown was with X's and O's, I think he lost the locker room mentally. And Doug Christie is bringing it out and got a newfound energy within the guys.
And what I love about Doug Christie is he's not changing who he was when he was the same guy as when he was an assistant. Because when he was an assistant, guys would go to him because he was like that player guy. He was always cool with the players, and he has been for years and years and years. That didn't change when he got a higher position with the team. Like, he's still who he is, and that's what the guys love about him. Because typically, like, you would think when someone goes into that head coaching job, okay, I gotta, put my hard hat on. I got to be a little bit more stern the way I talk. No, it seems like he's the exact same guy that you saw, the first one to jump off the bench to high five the players. He does that even more now.
Right.
So it's like, I think, yeah.
And that's a perspective from a former player, though. That's a perspective of someone who's played 15 years in the league. And that's why they're so sought after in the NBA. And as good as Mike Brown was, he wasn't a former player, so that voice can get lost so quickly. And I think it's resonating even more with the guys now because Doug played not only in the NBA, but for the Sacramento Kings.
No, for sure. And I love, they talked about this in the broadcast, how DeRozan, this was a while ago, but DeRozan got the film guys to put together a 5-minute showcase of Doug Christie's defensive highlights. So it's just like, he instills defensive mindsets, motivation, and the guys are reacting. And like, you see it with this 10-1 record, or what was it, RT?
10-1 in the last 11.
Yeah, you see it in the 10-1 in the last 11 games. I mean, the Kings, like, in the past, like, when we were down like that, it's so hard to climb back. But man, we cut that lead quick. And
it was effective too.
It was an effective quarter. I mean, man, there's just so many good things to talk about, from the coaching staff to how the players responded. But yeah, let's talk a little bit more about how Fox. It's been like 4 games now where he's kind of had a little bit of a scoring skid, not scoring like what we're used to. But I think what Fox does the best is how, when his shot's not falling, this is even when his shot is falling, he will always be there on defense. And like, I think you see it even more now when he's not making his shots offensively. His defense is just at an amazing rate right now.
Sure.
Yeah, I think it's also another thing too, just to add on, I think this was something that we've struggled with last year, was when Fox's shot was not falling, we would tend to lose those games. And this year it's been completely different because of the signing of DeMar DeRozan. Being a guy that has been in the league for so many years, you can see that, like, even though like Fox is dropping off, we see that DeRozan is able to pick up the slack. and be that offensive producer. So I think that like is the exact reason why that people were like, oh, why did you get DeMar DeRozan? It's for that reason. And this has happened last year. It's always weird because Fox always tends to drop a little bit during January. I know he always has. I think he had an injury problem like last year and around that time.
Multiple things with his fingers in his hands. So I mean, they said that he was going to try and get it fixed in the offseason, I think. I want to bring up this question. Do you think since Fox is clearly injured with that finger injury, I mean, he could still shoot the ball, but it's definitely affecting it. Like today, I think before the 8 points in the fourth quarter, he was 1 for 10. So it's obviously affecting his shot. Would you say, like, if you're medical staff or if you're on the coaching staff, would you say to De'Aaron, I think you should get the procedure done during the season, or do you think you want him to just play through it?
Well, he's been playing through it, right? Pretty much all season, and he's had some really good games.
I think it's gotten worse.
Really?
Because if you saw the photo, Mark Jones made a comment. He said that his pinky's making a right angle. It literally looks like this when it's not taped up.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean that's a call he has to make, right? And he's, everyone knows he's in a contract year, so I think he knows it'd be in his best interest if the pain was that unmanageable that he, makes that call and gets surgery. I don't think he would hesitate. But I personally, I think he just sees everyone flourishing. He sees one of his best buddies, Malik Monk, play absolutely incredible. Be basically the point guard on this team the last few games with the way he's facilitating, the way he's having the pick and roll. He's basically been been the point guard all season, and I think he knows that he doesn't need to do as much, and it's working out. And like RT said, as long as he's giving effort on the defensive end, which we haven't always seen of Fox. Sometimes he'd have bad offensive nights and then he kind of disappears, right? But he's bringing it on defense. He's still rebounding. He's still crashing the boards, and he knows he can rely on Monk, Sabonis, DeRozan, and Keegan to step up. And I think that's what he's doing. I hope the finger isn't too much of an issue. I think he would make the judgment call with him being in a contract year to sit out if need be. But in my opinion, I just think he sees his boys flourishing, and he's like, you know what, you guys got to eat. And Monk's having the best games of his career, so I don't think they're gonna. They're gonna be mad at him for that.
I also think that also we have to remember. Fox also dealt with this injury during the playoffs, and he was able to play throughout the rest of that series. So it's something that Fox has been accustomed to, and he can get back to that scoring output that we've seen in November and December very quickly. He can turn it on like that. But I think just for now, what he's doing is like when he knows his shot's not going in, he's able to, like Johnny mentioned, be able to play on defense, get his teammates involved, and just be an overall leader. So I agree. I think this is like Fox's most mature year that we've seen out of his career so far, where he's able to understand that, hey, I don't have the shot. Let me find other ways to get our team to win games.
And I think he sees Sabonis play through so many injuries, play through broken hands, black eyes. He sees Sabonis be an ox out there, and I think that motivates him. He's like, you know what, maybe the hand might hurt me, but I can still go out there and contribute to the guys. It shows that he doesn't want to let the teammates down. Right. Yeah,
I'm glad we all agree on that, because what I think he's too much of a competitor to sit out. Yeah. I don't think it would have to be very, very, very severe for him to not play a game, because that's just the kind of guy that De'Aaron is, and I think he will probably play the whole rest of the season. With
even when he had that hard fall on his back, he only missed 2 games, 3 games. So
I think he's gonna play through it. I mean, luckily it's the pinky. It's not like more of like the index finger or the middle finger, because that would make it harder on a shot. But the fact that he does have to have it taped, that definitely does affect the shot, but he will definitely play through it in my head. I think he will. Yeah. But man, let's just go down the stats for the game, because man, everyone performed. Actually, before we do that, I hate to bring this up, but we have to talk about it. There was a stretch in the game where Kevin Huerter was out there. He was out there for 2 minutes. Not good. Not a good 2 minutes. Gets pulled instantly. Second quarter, he plays maybe 3 minutes. Doesn't see the floor the rest of the game. I just want to hear your guys' opinions on
the Kingsman.
What do you think happened to Kevin Huerter? Like, is he just so in his head? Like, because he's almost unplayable at this point. And people get upset. Fans, they don't want him out there.
Yeah,
it's just a tough thing.
It just seems like he's having a hard time, because we got to remember he was a starting shooting guard for the Beam Team era. the redemption era.
Because he's seeing how much better our team is without him.
It's got to hurt
know?
him mentally. It's got to hurt him mentally. And I feel for him, right? Because he seems like a really good guy. He loves the city, but he's got to look at Devin Carter and what Keon Ellis are doing off the bench and say, hey, I don't need to be this shooter all the time. He's shown that he can be a capable defender, not an all-star defender, but he can be a capable defender. That's what Doug Christie wants from him. And I think what he's doing is trying to get his shot too much. He's trying to look like, the scorer that he's always shown to be. And he just looks uncomfortable out there. And yeah, I'm kudos to Doug Christie for not letting him play any longer than he did, because when he first got in there, yeah, he was missing shots, turning the ball over. He just doesn't look comfortable. And I feel for him for sure.
Yeah. I mean, he's just so streaky because when he's hot, he'll make his shots. But man, when he doesn't score offensively, the question is, how is he going to impact the game? And so far in these past couple of games, there's been no impact. So that's why Doug has to make the call where you have to sit him. But he'll always give him the opportunity. But then if he's not showing it, he'll let the other guys who have been rolling.
He was the first one on the bench, him and Keon Ellis. So, and I think with the emergence of Devin Carter, the way he's knocking down shots, Keon Ellis knocking down 3-pointers at a clip we've never seen before, that makes Herter's playing time a little bit more expendable. You know, and it's just bad timing.
I know, it really is. I feel bad for the boy, but
at the end of the day, he should want us to win. You know what I mean? And regardless of how he's doing individually, I assume that he loves those guys in the locker room and wants us to succeed. But I mean, Doug Christie said in interviews, man, he still believes in him. They've asked him questions about Kevin Huerter's slump, and he's just, he's like, I always just instill confidence in Kevin Huerter. I always still tell him to shoot the ball, because, and Doug Christie's saying this, he's saying, because when I was going through slumps, I just wanted a coach to believe in me. So he still believes in Huerter. He's still going to put him out there, like you said, give him playing time, give him opportunities. You just hope, the shots start going in.
Yeah, I mean, we all hope for the best with the Kevin Huerter resurgence. We're all waiting for it. Because the reason why I brought it up is because the bench only scored 18 points tonight. We had to rely so heavily on the starters tonight. So in a game where the opposing team is missing most of their star players, we had to rely on ours when it should be like, okay, so like they could take a little bit of the gas off, in this type of game, but we couldn't. The bench only scored 18 points, and that was basically just Keon and Trey. Devin had one 3-pointer to contribute to the 18, but everyone else, DeRozan, man, I think DeRozan might have I didn't see who won the Deep Player of the game tonight, but DeMar DeRozan had 2 steals and 2 blocks. I think Kevin Huerter should be taken after DeRozan because DeRozan has been getting such timely stops and huge rebounds at the end of games, where Kevin Huerter, when he's putting up 0 balls on the stat sheet, he could at least be fighting for rebounds. I mean, the one thing I do think Kevin does well is he does a very good job at like intercepting the passing lanes. He does do that.
Anticipating passing lanes. Yeah,
he does that really well, and he will get some steals that way. But DeMar DeRozan's timely stops, for how, for lack of better words, not the best defender that DeRozan is, he finds ways to poke the ball out when needed, and he makes those big stops.
And just also understanding rotations, like defensively, also makes a big difference too. That's how you're going to stay on the court, and especially like that's why we love Keon Ellis. He's the prime example of just understanding like where his rotation is, especially when they are in man defense or even in zone. Just understanding, okay, I got to know where the rotation is. Where do I go? Where's the ball going to be at? Where can I find the next way to intercept a passing lane? Those types of things will keep you on the floor. Those types of things will, if you contribute on defense, you'll find ways to contribute on offense.
Yeah, I mean, I don't sit courtside for the games, but you could visually see Keon talking on defense. You don't really see Kevin doing that. Like he points around and stuff, but you can see Keon like yelling and pointing. Maybe that's something. But the reason why Kevin got pulled so early is because he had a really bad stretch, and it was mainly defensive mistakes, and that contributed to that 18-point lead in the second quarter.
Yeah.
But okay, no more Kevin Huerter talk. We love him, but we just want Red Velvet to come back.
Positive
that's all.
Vibes.
So DeRozan, 32 points, 5 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 blocks. That is definitely my player of the game.
Yeah. Plus 26.
Yeah.
Plus 26.
Plus 26 for only being up 6.
Yeah.
Normally you get plus 26 in a blowout win. Like that is insane.
Incredible.
Keegan Murray, 13 points, 2 blocks. Sabonis, I mean, he could be the player of the game every single night with 26 points, 18 rebounds. Malik Monk with another 20-point game. I think that's like 8 or 9 in a row for him. Fox, 14 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Keon Ellis, 8 points, 2 steals, and 1 block. As a team, we had 9 steals and 7 blocks, which was amazing. We shot 50% from the field, and we made 30 out of our 32 free throws, which is insane. But the most important statistic of it all was, yes, look at the camera.
How many fast break points?
The Warriors had zero fast break points, and the Kings had 28. That's the
transition defense in the league.
That's the storyline right there.
Kings have it.
It's
Mike,
unbelievable.
Can we also talk about Keegan Murray, especially in that fourth quarter? Just
oh my god,
like you know how Johnny likes saying in the thick of it. I'm gonna steal Christo's word and say, my freaking god,
my god,
my freaking god, Keegan Murray, locking down.
Locking down Steph Curry.
He didn't fall for any pump fakes. He
got back on defense against Andrew Wiggins, contested Steph Curry in that fourth quarter. Everything just defensively worked out so well. And it was just like, oh my God, this was just a fantastic defensive fourth quarter from Keegan Murray. Yeah, throw that out.
Steph Curry only had 2 points in the second half. He only finishes with 12 points.
And you know what's crazy
I didn't
about
know he
that?
played the second half. I thought he.
Wait, did I get it wrong?
Wait. Oh, he was. Oh, he. Wait, did he play in the second half?
Shouts out Deuce Mason. Shouts out Deuce Mason.
Mason.
We were watching that before, and that was freaking hilarious.
Me and Deuce with the troll activities.
Yeah. Can I ask you guys? There was a shot in the ESPN broadcast because they also had brought Bob Myers, who was the former GM, and it was like 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. I think they were up 2. We were up 2. Steph comes up and basically pulls it from like damn near the corner.
God.
And almost went in.
That was like his...
I thought, in my opinion, and they were saying that's a good shot. I could not disagree more. That was a very terrible shot from Steph.
It's the only shot he was going to get, though.
Yeah, that was the only shot, too.
No,
that's
honestly,
I
was like, damn, that's such a bad shot, though.
So RT thinks it's a bad shot. I honestly thought it was a good shot.
I think it was a good shot because we were playing such good defense on him.
Even though it was Steph Curry... Like, that's a credit to our defense.
That's what I'm saying. It's a credit to our defense.
Forcing him to a bad shot,
right?
That I saw where he looked frustrated taking that shot too.
But our defense was so tight on him that game that was a good shot.
That was
you know
the
what I
best
mean?
shot
Like that's the best shot he could have gotten because we were clamping him.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think like that overall is why like when I was like, damn, that's a bad shot. When in hindsight, that's just how good our defense is. And then we converted it on a fast break, too, right there.
Imagine being that scared of Keegan Murray that you have to pull up from
go up against
Jimmer range. Because Keegan Murray's just waiting for you.
He sees Keegan Murray, Keon Ellis. He's like, dude, there's no way I'm scoring more than 20.
And the only bucket that Steph Curry had in that second half was with 40 seconds left in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it was a nice layup.
It was insane.
And then what number does Keegan Murray wear? 13? And then what number was Doug Christie when he played?
13.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting.
Best defender from back in the day.
They're both
same
tall,
number,
both handsome.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, that is weird. Well, anyways. Want to hear something crazy? So, we won by 6. De'Aaron Fox didn't have his best scoring night. The Warriors made 11 more three-pointers than us. You know, if you didn't watch the game and you just saw the box score, you'd be like, oh, man. It sucks that the Kings didn't win tonight. I thought they were playing really good these past, 11 games.
Yeah.
Well, think again. We found a way to win, man.
We did.
Dude,
we did.
Like, these are my favorite wins when box score-wise, it doesn't look like we should have won the game. You know,
sure.
Like when you see the stats, you're like, the Warriors made how many more threes in them?
Even watching the game, you don't think that we had a chance to win.
Like these are my favorite type of wins, and especially like the games where we just have to show all of our heart and just fight back.
You know why though? Ones. It's because these are wins that we earn. We earn these wins. These aren't games where the other team played bad. You know, it was a layup for us. You know, we earned this win by our defensive scheme and our timely shots. They made their shots. They had their run. but we stopped their best player from scoring, who is going to trickle down. It's going to trickle to everybody. He could easily go for 30, 40, 50 any given night, and we stopped him. And we didn't give up, dude. Those are the wins that mean the most, are the ones that we earn. The ones
I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more.
I also agree.
Yeah.
So with that win, the Kings are now the 7th seed
Wow.
in the NBA Western
I
Conference.
used to pray for times like this.
And we are officially a game back from the 5th seed because the Clippers and Lakers are currently tied right now for 5th. Man, it's
a parade inside my city. Yeah.
Basically,
you
every
told me-
team that needed to lose tonight, for the Kings' sake, lost tonight. So
That
it
was
was
incredible.
perfect. It was a perfect
incredible.
night for the
The
Kings.
stars are aligning.
But the thing that's crazy, the Kings go on a 6-game road trip after this. They'll be gone for 2 weeks. Let me tell you who we're playing.
A lot of viewing parties at Christo's house coming soon.
So the first game is tomorrow. So back-to-back in Denver.
Ooh.
They're flying up to
Screw
the
you,
Mile High
Adam
City.
Silver. Screw you.
That's
man.
a tough one. Even DeMar DeRozan said in the post game, he was joking, obviously, but he was like, "Man, it seems like this was a planned attack or something
Yeah.
like that." Like, because a back-to-back in Denver is just that's brutal.
That's brutal.
So that's kicks off the 6th game. Then after that, we got to play Go New York, Go New York, Go. We're playing the Knicks. They're hot right now too. And then the Brooklyn Nets, Philadelphia 76ers, Oklahoma City Thunder, and the Minnesota Timberwolves. So, now that you hear the 6 games, Ryan Clark has been incredible this past... ever since Mike Brown got traded, he's been predicting things.
The
To-
winning
to the
streak.
T.
Yeah, the winning streak started after his prediction.
They sure did.
Yeah.
So now, RT, now that the Kings are 10-1 in the last 11 games, we've won 7 straight home games because of you, and now we're going on the road.
Yep.
We are a road team, but these teams, except for the Nets and the Sixers, these are all above 500 teams.
It's
So,
gonna be
no
brutal. That's a
gimmies.
tough stretch. That's a tough stretch.
Look into your crystal ball.
So 3 out of the 6 teams have a better record than us, or higher standing than us in their
Sheesh.
conference. So, RT,
Look into your crystal ball.
look into the camera lens and let the people know what
gotta
is going to
stand up for
happen.
this too.
Thank you.
RT's Auto Body.
shout out to the auto body. But after looking at the schedule and just seeing what this team has done in the last 11 games, I think the Kings will go 4-2 in the 6 games.
You know what, RT? I love that because it's not too aggressive
Not
on
too
the
greedy.
Yeah.
Not too
Because
greedy.
I honestly think we'll get our butts kicked by OKC.
Okay, so I'm gonna say the 6 teams. You
Let's-
say one
yeah,
loss.
I'll-
Okay,
yeah, I'll do that.
Denver Nuggets.
I think that's going to be a win.
Johnny, I know you have opposing viewpoints on this game.
I as much as I would like a win, man, that's going
That's a
into
tough
Denver
one.
on a back-to-back to play that Nuggets team who's rolling
I know.
right now. If we are able to squeak out the win against Denver, I don't know, man. That would be an incredible thing for the Beam team.
Because then we would be like right there at the 5th. That would be the biggest win. I mean, this was one of the biggest wins of the season. But now that next game, oh my god!
If we're able to beat Denver tomorrow, I think we're putting the whole league. I mean, the whole league is already on notice, but I think everyone in NBA media circles is talking about this Kings team if we're able to beat Denver on the second night of back-to-back.
I think every NBA analyst that talks on TV and has their own podcast will be talking about the Sacramento Kings,
Yes.
which they have been. But then the mood will shift
The
completely.
magnitude is going to be big.
They're gonna be like, wait a second, this team is like,
It's an insane
Yeah.
run.
Really good.
Yeah, it's an insane run.
Okay, New
But I
York
think it's
Knicks.
doable.
Yeah,
It's doable.
it's very doable.
Yeah.
RT, New York Knicks.
This is a loss.
Okay, New York is a loss. What about Nets?
This is a win.
What about Philly,
That's a win.
W.
Thunder,
That's a loss.
and then Minnesota?
I think that's a
Okay,
win.
okay.
Because we always
I
play
like
so
that.
well in
I like
Minnesota.
that. I like that.
We match up really well against Denver. I mean, have been matching up with Denver since
For years now.
In the Beam Team era. Knicks will probably give us problems because they're exactly like us.
They're very similar. But they got no bench.
except they have Josh Hart, who is a rebounding machine, and Cat is also a rebounding machine. So I think that's going to be a loss. And then the Thunder, that's probably going to be a loss too because they just seem like they're rolling. SGA dropped 54 points tonight.
You know what's? I'm just going to bring that. I'm going to go off of that really quick. You know when he was in his post-game interview and they were asking him about the free throws? He's like, I don't really beg for free throws like that, but when they come, it's a plus. You know how many free throws he had tonight? In his 54 points.
Can I say 14?
14?
20.
Johnny's closer.
22?
28. I'm just kidding. He was 17 for 18, which is insane.
Yeah, that's wild.
I mean,
that's wild.
crazy.
I mean, okay.
That's more than the Warriors had.
So 4-2 on the road trip. I need to say one more thing about this Kings team right here. This is the 10th double-digit comeback win this season.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Dude, are you serious?
That's got to lead the league, right?
That I don't know.
We'll find out.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that just shows so much about this team.
It's a team that believes in each other.
So that's why I think this road trip, as hard as it looks on paper, I don't think 4-2 is too much to ask for.
I think also what's interesting is that the Warriors, out of all teams, have blown the most like double-digit leads this season.
Yeah, because it's so surprising to me, like how. Like, if you look at their past games, they were leading most of those games, and then they just crumble at the end. And then you hear Steph Curry saying, like, man, I think our team just doesn't have the fight anymore. You hear him say stuff like that, and you're like, well, then when you see it, you're like, that game was theirs to win. And then stuff like that continues to happen to the Warriors, where you're just like,
it's crazy.
I mean, we don't feel bad, but
I mean, we're seeing the dynasty crumble in front of our eyes. The dynasty's already over, but yeah, Curry, man, free Curry,
man.
Dude, it might be time.
You know what's crazy? Kevin O'Connor has been like tweeting like trade Steph Curry, and like a lot of Curry fans, Warrior fans are just like,
that's not the worst idea.
It's not the worst idea.
Not the worst idea.
It's just that they view Steph as like the one franchise team, and they would rather bring in people there. But I don't know. I mean,
because there's like, in order to save the franchise and avoid them going down back to their sad path they've been on before Steph, they were like, oh, we got to trade him. Get as many assets as possible.
They would get a lot right now.
They would get a lot right now. Oh my god, they would get so much.
Yeah,
people would throw in the whole house to have Steph Curry on their team for 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah, that's why this year might be the year they should do it.
Dude, okay.
They would never, but
since we have a little bit of time left in the podcast, February 6th is right around the corner. Cam Johnson reportedly is out of Kings trade talks. When me and RT were just talking about Cam Johnson's fit on the Kings in the last episode, now it seems like Cam Johnson, the Kings have pivoted away.
John Collins.
I was just about to say, I think John Collins,
great first name as well. He can come off the bench, be a great interior piece, and he shouldn't cost a whole lot.
Yeah, because the Cam Johnson asking price is too high for the Kings.
They wanted Keegan. Like, let's be honest, that's who they wanted. Yeah.
Or the Keegan, 2 first rounders.
Keegan and a first round.
No, Keegan and a first rounder. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
So it sounds like the John Collins asking price is more in the ballpark of like a Trey Lyles, Kevin Huerter to match salary, and maybe like a second round pick to throw in there.
For sure.
But
I would love that move.
I mean, who knows what Monty and the rest of the NBA has up their sleeve, because it's so close.
Imagine
and
a
I
Monk.
feel like
yeah.
something's got to happen.
Imagine a Fox, Monk, John Collins fast break.
You know what? Yeah, see, like the thing about John Collins is what the Kings have been lacking is we haven't had a lob threat.
Right.
And John Collins, you know how great Malik Monk is passing to Sabonis? Imagine him throwing it up to John Collins.
Dude, John Collins is like Malik Monk, but in a big man's body.
Exactly.
Like, in a 6'9" body. Like he's a pogo stick.
Exactly.
Like,
and I think he's what, 29? I think John Collins
might be
is
younger.
29.
He might be younger.
27?
Like either, yeah, it might be,
Really?
might be 27.
Dude.
27 or 28.
And then like the whole thing is like
I think
getting
it's
him to sign on for more
27,
years.
27.
Yeah,
Because if
27.
we were to get John Collins and then like he loves the fit here, loves his role, and then we sign him to like a 3 year or something for like a team friendly deal, because you know
I was listening to, I forgot which podcast I was listening to, but they were saying like John Collins is not anticipating another $100 million contract. Like I think he's, if he finds the right fit, he's going to want, he will take that team friendly deal. And I'm like, how great of a fit would he be off our bench?
Yeah, he'd fit in perfectly, age-wise and fit-wise for sure.
I think another guy I would also really like to see is Robert Williams.
Yeah, I heard his asking price is a little bit high right now.
Just slightly higher. It's kind of like in the middle range of like the Cam Johnson high and like the John Collins. It's like the 3 goalie locks. Like he's like right in the middle. You know what I mean?
But I feel like these are the type of players. You know, like a John Collins. You know, they have similar.
Yeah, I just think they have similar stuff in their game. So. But I mean, Robert Williams is a
rim protector.
So and a lob threat too. Yeah. So you know.
So I'm yeah. I mean, like one of those two guys. I'd love to see them in a Kings uniform. But
I would love
who
it.
knows? Maybe there's some guy that has not even been mentioned in the media. Maybe that's the guy we go for. I have no idea. But do you guys have any insight like on what you think Monty will do? Do you think he'll stand pat, or do you think he makes the change?
I think he'll make a move. I don't know if it's going to be multiple moves. I rather would see, because the whole thing the last couple years was like he made a few moves, but it wasn't like anything majorly drastic. We would talk about 2 years ago when we made the playoffs, we traded for Kessler Edwards for situations where defensively he came in games defensively. Last year, the only thing that he truly did was trade for Robin Lopez and then basically
cash considerations.
Yeah, exactly. So I think Monty McNair will make a solid move. I think it won't be like multiple moves. I think it's going to be one move that's going to basically be like, okay, that's going to improve our team. I think there will be one move.
I think he makes a big-ish move. I think John Collins comes in. I think he took a lot of heat, obviously, with the Mike Brown firing, so he knows this is, and I believe Monty's going into his last year, right, in his GM contract, or
RT will look it up.
I believe it's either the last year or next year's last year, because there was he didn't get extended. I don't think. But I think this is the year. This is the trade deadline where he makes a move because he wants to quiet the naysayers who were giving him so much slack about the Mike Brown firing, who were calling for his job. Right? Obviously, Doug Christie has kind of quieted them down a bit, but I think
now it makes him seem like he made the greatest.
But
move.
I still think there's people there that are like, Monty, what are you doing? Does he have control of this team? And I think he makes a splash
Monty
move this
McNair
year.
has one more year left after this year.
One more year, right? But that's limited, right? Limited opportunities to make this team better. And I think we have a good thing going. But I think if he and we all know Monty's patient with his trades, right? He's not going to do anything drastic unless there's a good offer on the table. Obviously, he pulled out of the Cam Johnson sweepstakes because he doesn't want a team take advantage of the Kings like they did with Vlade Divac, right, in the past, and our other GMs. But I think this is the year where if he gets a good offer for a John Collins or for a Robert Williams, that's fair, and then doesn't mess up our core, I think he pulls the trigger on it.
Well said. I really think the core is untouchable. I think all of them, all the way down to Keon, like Keon, Malik, Sabonis, Fox, Keegan. I think those guys are all untouchable.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a small tweak where you exchange bench pieces, hopefully for a John Collins like that. I think that's the biggest move we make. But either way, I think it betters the team. But we'll see. I mean, who knows? Maybe he's willing to use one of the draft picks. You never know. But I'm really proud of him for not taking the bait on that Brooklyn Nets trade with Cam Johnson.
For sure.
So that's huge. That's huge. But
he's a smart guy.
So yeah, tomorrow. Right now, as we're recording, the boys are probably in the air right now. They're probably,
they're wheels up for them.
They're probably already like breathing in extra oxygen to make sure that they're prepared for Denver. But man,
Kevin Herr is probably a Tiger though. He's got to drink the pain away, and then you'll meet him up in Denver tomorrow.
You think Kevin takes a private on his own over there to meet up with the team?
He like Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But they're on a flight right now. They're probably all sleeping. Fox is probably playing COD on the plane.
I love that.
Probably
get the mind right. Get the mind right.
Keegan's probably just staring at the airplane seat in front of him.
Yes.
And Trey's reading. But yeah, they gotta lock it in, man.
They gotta lock it in.
Big game tomorrow.
There's not too much to say because we've already talked about Denver before, but I think the one thing that has been the brightest spot of Denver recently is Jokic and Russell Westbrook being an incredible duo. And I think that's what's going to give Kings problems the most, because that's what happened last time we played them. Westbrook, I think he had almost 20 against us last game, and most of his points are off of a Jokic assist.
Yeah.
So I think
insane.
And Westbrook gets a lot of his points in transition and in a fast break, and that's what opens up Denver's entire offense when they start playing fast. So thankfully, we've been playing great transition defense as of late, and I think if we stop them in transition and we make them play slower basketball, kind of get them out of their comfort zone, I think we'll have a chance.
I'm very curious to see, because Mike Brown coached the team when we played Denver last, and now it's Doug Christie's turn. Mm-hmm. So who knows if we make Jokic the facilitator, we make Jokic the scorer. I'm very curious to see how we go. So that's all we have for today. Thank you so much for watching Kang Gang Pod episode number 28. We love you so much. We're clocking out for the night. We love you.
Subscribe.